Government shutdowns are more common than you might think.
Thank you for calling the White House. Unfortunately, we cannot answer your call today.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things you need to know about government shutdowns. For this list, we're learning more about what happens when the American government shuts down. Number 10. Shutdowns happen when there's no approved budget funding. The first question most people have about a government shutdown is, how did this even happen in the first place? Well, the way the American government is set up, a shutdown can happen when Congress does not pass, or the president doesn't sign legislation that provides funding to governmental agencies, otherwise known as an appropriation bill. Due to a piece of legislation called the Anti-Deficiency Act, this lack of an approved budget results in the shutdown of the affected agencies, which is basically most of the government. Number 9. This phenomenon is actually pretty recent.
Government is partially shutting down because Congress has failed to pass the straightforward legislation necessary to keep the government running.
The Congressional Budget Act of 1974 made government shutdowns possible in the absence of formally passed funding bills. It wasn't until 1980, however, that things really changed. From then until the January 2018 shutdown, the government closed up shop 19 times. Although many of those shutdowns took place over the weekend, resulting in relatively minimal effects on the average American. However, during that time there were 4 significant shutdowns. 2 during the Clinton presidency in 1995 and 1996, one in 2013 under President Obama, and a 2018 shutdown under President Trump. Number 8. They could make you sick. Okay, maybe not directly, but your health could definitely be affected. How? Well, for example, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's flu monitoring program would have been deeply impacted had the January 2018 shutdown continued, since many employees would no longer have been working. The Department of Health and Human Services has approximately 80,000 employees, and half of them were also off during the brief shutdown. That's a massive cut in resources at a critical time. So if it happens again and lasts longer, it could have serious effects throughout society. So maybe stock up on vitamins just in case? Number 7. You don't have to worry about the astronauts. During the 2013 shutdown, many government agencies ceased operations pretty much across the board, including NASA. There were some exceptions, however, and we can assume that this would be the case during any future shutdown.
Mission Control is not here right now, but can I take a message?
What do you mean they're not here?
Well, this is awkward, but the government has shut down.
The 2 American astronauts who were in space during the shutdown continued their work. And while the vast majority of NASA employees were on furlough, small support teams for the active astronauts continued to come into the office. After all, it's not like they can just be left hanging there until things return to normal.
Houston, we have a problem.
Number 6. You still have to do your taxes. The 2013 government shutdown took place in October, leaving many Americans wondering whether they still had to do their taxes, since October 15th was the deadline for those granted an extension on the regular April 15th due date. But in 2013 and during any future shutdown, you still have to do your civic duty and file your taxes by whatever deadline you have. IRS employees are part of the category of federal workers who do not work during a shutdown. So filing taxes or getting a refund, or answers to your pressing filing questions, might be a huge hassle, but you still gotta do it. Number 5. Your travel could be affected. Luckily, any major travel plans you may have are probably safe even during a government shutdown, because transportation agencies like the TSA, Border Patrol, and Immigration and Customs Enforcement will still be functioning as normal, since they're considered essential services. But let's say you're waiting for a new passport. You're probably SOL on that. Or let's say you're planning to take in some local sites like a national park, zoo, or museum. You should check to see if they'll be open, because if they don't fall under the essential services category, they'd be closed for the duration of any shutdown. That is unless, for political reasons, the government tries to find a way to keep them open with budgeting or legislative trickery. Number 4. Military personnel may not be paid right away. The Office of Management and Budget decides who exactly continues to work during a government shutdown. But one thing that remains consistent is that anyone deemed emergency personnel, like federal police officers, healthcare workers in federal facilities, and air traffic controllers, will all continue on as normal, or close enough. This is also the case for active duty military members. However, had the 2018 shutdown lasted longer than just a couple of days and extended into February, members of the military would not have been paid for their work, and that ain't good. Number 3, federal workers do eventually get paid. Even though the majority of them will not be working during a federal government shutdown, workers receive pay for the days they miss. That makes sense considering they have no say in whether they work or not. The problem is, they likely won't end up getting paid on their normal payment schedule, which could mean financial troubles for many. Once things get back to normal, federal employees should quickly receive back pay for the salary they missed out on, but it's not guaranteed. Individual agencies each have their own measures to deal with a shutdown. Number 2, no one knows how long a shutdown could last. Of all the government shutdowns in U.S. history, most have not lasted that long, all things considered. The 1995 and 96 shutdowns ended up totaling 27 days, and the 2013 shutdown lasted 16 days. But there aren't really any measures in place to put a limit on the length of a shutdown. That means uncertainty for everyone involved, because it's up to Congress and the president to sort things out and ensure everything goes back to normal in a timely fashion. Considering how much money they cost, no one wants them to last long, but severe dysfunction could make it happen. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, they can get really expensive. It's hard to measure exactly how much money was lost during previous government shutdowns, but at least one agency estimated that the government lost $24 billion in economic activity in 2013. Just the salaries of employees who weren't actually working for those 16 days cost a whopping $2 billion. The 1995 and 96 shutdowns similarly cost $1.4 billion in lost productivity. Luckily, such huge losses were avoided in January 2018, since the government was only closed for one official workday.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Described him as one of the most dangerous men on the face of the earth.
Welcome to the Man Cave. Welcome to the Man Cave. I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Mia.
I'm 85 Slim.
Can Billions
Enzo.
Okay. What's up? I'm Don.
Neil, on that clip, what was the most surprising thing for you that shutdowns do to the country?
Honestly, I wasn't really surprised by any of the information. My mother she's a state worker, so I mean, none of it was very surprising to me. The majority of essential services are still going, and some services actually don't utilize congressional appropriations, like the post office and like student loan payments and whatnot. They actually don't use congressional appropriations, so it doesn't affect them at all.
Enzo, what about you?
I'd pretty much say the same thing as me. I mean, I'm very aware of government shutdowns. I have friends who work for the government as well as the military. And to pick one thing, probably that would be surprising to me, would be about the astronaut.
Oh, yeah.
I would be surprised by, yeah.
Because you don't remember when Trump said they might fall in love with each other? You don't remember when he said that? Yeah, it was a man and a woman that was up there. He said, oh, well, maybe they'll fall in love with each other.
Oh, geez.
Slim, I didn't get to play a clip, but what was the clip about?
Government shutdown. You play it when you get time. About a good 1 minute. But yeah, I mean, this is something that we're used to. The reason why is what we should be focused on. But I'm sure you're going to elaborate about that.
Ken, how you feel about a government shutdown?
It's just very interesting. It just tells you that our government is a business. Like the government could shut down, but stuff still is moving on, moving around, right? We're still gonna go to work tomorrow. We're still gonna the money ain't shut down, capitalism ain't shut down, right? So it just kind of shows you that our government is a business, that it can actually shut down and it everything is still going, you know what I mean? So power to the people, man.
Doc, I remember the day I didn't get my check. You probably remember too. So it affects us directly if this happens that we don't get paid. So how you feel about it?
Oh, that's some bullshit. I remember when they was having the one back in the day, remember, and they had to give us a whole briefing about, oh, how you still gotta come to work. And man, we had the whole they could kiss my ass meeting after they gave us the meeting. Remember, like, yo, we was soldiers, we was young soldiers, like, yo, they could kiss my ass. If I don't get paid, I won't be here on Monday. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure it's a lot of people with that sentiment right now. We weren't one-offs at all.
So Republicans are saying that the reason that Democrats don't want the government to stay active is because they want illegal immigrants to get health care. So this is what the vice president had to
say that they care a lot about lowering health care costs, and yet when the president took historic action to work with the drug companies to lower prescription drug prices, the Democrats did nothing to help us. In fact, we would have loved to have the Democrats helping us, but they didn't. They talk about doing something. They don't actually do the hard work of making it happen. What they have done instead is to shut down the government because we won't give billions of dollars to health care funding for illegal aliens. That is what has actually happened. To the American people who are watching, the reason your government is shut down at this very minute is because, despite the fact that the overwhelming majority of congressional Republicans and even a few moderate Democrats supported opening the government, the Chuck Schumer AOC wing of the Democratic Party shut down the government because they said to us, we will open the government, but only if you give billions of dollars of funding for health care for illegal aliens. That's a ridiculous proposition.
So they need 7 votes from the Democrats for them to get this passed. But the Democrats are saying that it's actually for Medicaid, and I think what Obamacare was. So Enzo, what do you think? Is it for the illegal immigrants or is it for Medicaid?
I looked into this before coming on here tonight, and I was actually just speaking about it on my live. Yes, it is for undocumented immigrants. It's subsidies for the ACA that predominantly helps out undocumented immigrants, people that are not American citizens yet, people that just came here and applied for asylum, visa, and citizenship. That's exactly what it is for. And Democrats are doing Democrat things again. I've been saying it for months that migrants, undocumented migrants, are getting federal funding through states, because the federal gives the money to the states. States like California with Medi-Cal, undocumented as well as illegal migrants, are getting the funding that American citizens should be getting. This is the Democrats. This is what they want. This is why they want to push in all these immigrants and give them all these subsidies, put them on all these programs that American citizens should be getting. Like, I'm so sick and tired of hearing it. Like, this is like a surprise to people. Like, this is what the Democrats want. They don't want to take care of the American citizens. They would rather shut down the government to give to illegal migrants than American citizens. And this is point blank what has happened at this point. I'm just so over it.
Ken, is it for the illegal immigrants?
Yeah, I seen Maxine Waters be pressed about the issue. Hey, Democrats can be 1%ers too, because they're not going to be affected by none of this. They're still going to be paid. They're still going to be straight. You know what I'm saying? So Democrats got deep pockets just like Republicans got deep pockets. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, this is politics. I seen them asked that they plan on making sure everybody has free healthcare. They weren't specific. They raised their hand and said everybody. You know what I mean? So Democrats are smart. Democrats are playing a long game. Democrats, you know what I'm saying, want voters that don't know the Constitution. Democrats are known for giving handouts, so we got to be fair about that. But they're 1%ers, and at the end of the day, the government being shut down, none of them are going to stop being paid, because if they were stopped being paid, this wouldn't be like this. So they're on Wall Street. They got big businesses. These are millionaires at the end of the day. Some billionaires.
I'm gonna play that clip you talking about Maxine Waters. I know what you're talking about, but this is what Chuck Schumer said about Republicans.
That too many Republicans are lying through their teeth. They say, oh, the Democrats want undocumented immigrants to get health care, to get the federal dollars of health care. That is utter bull. And they know it. The law prohibits undocumented immigrants from getting payments from Medicare, Medicaid, or the ACA. There's no money, not a penny, of federal dollars that are going there. So why do they bring this up? Because they're afraid to talk about the real issue, which is health care for American citizens. A standard Republican MO is to make something else up because the American people are on our side. Now, this week, here's what House Republicans sent out guidance to their members. They said, quote, not to make the message about health care because Republicans lose that argument. They're right. Their position is callous, malicious, unpopular. So they're not only refusing to talk about health care, but apparently when they do, it's only to spread misinformation, to spread lies. I said this to Speaker Johnson in the Oval Office yesterday. I told him it was total bull, I think that's the word I used, to say that we want undocumented immigrants to get federal benefits, that it can't happen by law, and nothing we've proposed in our bill changes that. He sort of smirked, that's it, because he knows the truth.
So we got a super chat from the CRB tree. MAGA controls the whole government. How on Dems? Doc, I'll let you respond to that one.
I think even if he thinks, that the Republicans have, certain positions in the legislature, they still need some bipartisan agreement to get some of these things passed, to get the financial part of this thing passed. They don't have enough of a majority to just do it without having some Democratic assistance. So even if you think they control the whole government, this actually shows you that our government is bipartisan, and these two sides, left and right, are gonna have to work together and come to some conclusion. And the conclusion shouldn't be a Republican or a Democrat thing. It should be what's best for the American people thing. So I don't know if it's on Dems, but
for sure. Well, there's one Democrat that sided with Republicans. This is what he had to say.
This evening, I just voted for 2 CRs tonight. And the first one votes to affirm that we would like to extend the ACA tax credits because, of course, I voted for health care. The second vote is about making sure that we keep our government open. And I did vote for that because I think it's a sad event if we shut our government down later today. So for me, our nation doesn't believe that kinds of chaos. Now, for me, it's about more over the country, not the party in this kinds of moments just like this.
Mia, Fetterman has basically been working with the Republicans a lot ever since he had a stroke. Why don't we see more bipartisanship from both sides like Fetterman when he's setting this example?
Because we're kind of past the point of no return. It's extremists on both sides at this point in time. In the 1990s, more people were moderate. Even in the early 2000s, more people were moderate. 2010s, people were moderate. It's like the second we hit COVID pandemic, everybody became an extremism because everybody was home and getting hammered with propaganda. So I think we are definitely past the point of bipartisanship at this point in time. People are just too propagandized, which is what they want. They want division between us. And that's just, we're kind of playing into the elite's hands with that.
For sure. Slim, the clip you sent me is 16 minutes long. So I don't know if you can just say a synopsis on what that is, what he was talking about.
I mean, you could play like the first minute and get exactly what we're talking about because he breaks down a little bit more than just the healthcare thing because it's $1.7 trillion that the Dems want to spend. And it doesn't help the American people at all.
I'll tell you what it tells me.
Senator.
It's simply that much more evidence that human evolution is a slow process. I thought humans had advanced more as a species, but apparently we haven't. What do I mean by a shutdown? Well, we can't keep government open without a budget. And tonight at midnight, our current budget expires unless we vote to maintain.
All right, Slim. So, what you have to say about what he had to say?
Well, he gets into why. I mean, if you can, just watch that clip when you can. I just sent it to you because it was touching on the shutdown. But he breaks down everything that the Democrats want to do with the funding and why they're not signing these bills. So the clips that's coming out is basically going on healthcare. And it's so funny how the Democrats will get on television. And it's funny how you people still follow these people, but they would literally get on television and scream healthcare after we've been advocating that shit for years. They were just in power for a minute, but they never did nothing about it. Why now? Why now is so relevant that we must focus on healthcare for Americans? We've been screaming that shit. I don't get how you follow these people, and I'm not with the both sides shit. It's them. We need to get rid of the Democratic Party. Period.
So, Slim, I got one question: yes or no? So, the president is not to blame for the shutdown at all, right?
No, that's why I sent you the clip.
Okay, so this is straight from Donald Trump's mouth.
There is a shutdown. I think it would be a tremendously negative mark on the president of the United States. He's the one that has to get people together. I hear the Democrats are going to be blamed and the Republicans are going to be blamed. I actually think the president would be blamed.
Well, if you say who gets fired, it always has to be the top. I mean, problems start from the top, and they have to get solved from the top, and the president's the leader, and he's got to get everybody in a room, and he's got to lead.
I heard Boehner before I left say there's no way we're going to close up government. Well, that means the other side just won. Because if you don't have that at least threat, you can't do anything. You can't, and they got nothing. You got to say, we're going to close it, we're going to close it. You got to scare them.
As far as keeping the government open, I think we want to keep the government open. Don't you agree?
But you can't negotiate when your top person said, there's no way we close up government.
Build that wall. Now, the obstructionist Democrats would like us not to do it, but believe me, we have to close down our government. We're building that wall.
When the government is, they talk about the government shutdown, they're going to be talking about the president of the United States. Who was the president at that time? So I really think the pressure is on the president.
The Democrats are really looking at something that is very dangerous for our country. They are looking at shutting down.
It's not really shutting down the government. It's cutting costs. The kind of money that you're talking about is peanuts.
Slim, how do you feel after seeing that clip of Trump saying the president is to blame?
Number one, you can't get me with old ass clips like that. Number two, that goes back to what Doc was saying about there's other people that got to approve on certain things, okay? So it ain't going to just be that easy. So I know that's what they want to do. They want to blame everything on Trump. That's how it's going to go down. But again, I sent you that clip. You didn't go to the meat and potatoes. You stood to where you wanted to stand on. Fine. Just watch it when you get time.
16 minutes, Slim. 16 minutes.
If you would have given 45 more seconds, it would have been a wrap. Right?
Well, Slim, wait, hold on. So wait, now old bars don't matter? Old albums don't matter? Old bars don't matter? Those is old bars.
Stop trying to blame everything on Trump, bro. Y'all know the Dems be doing this,
bro.
Man.
Old bars don't matter.
In your face, like we be trying to give health care to everybody,
bro. Those is his bars. Those is his bars.
Bro, listen.
I think it's a real lot. Like both sides have things that they want to frivolously spend on, and both sides aren't willing to come to an agreement on what they would agree to frivolously spend on and how much which I think is the issue. Because both sides have things that I don't think would be super advantageous for the American people. It's to push the agenda that side would prefer more. You know what I mean? So it's just going to be a game of what the numbers, can they make the numbers work? Can they agree to a certain number? Can they get to a certain place? And it's probably going to come down to a little bit of the pressure that the American people going to put on them.
Well, can I say something? I mean, I think a government shutdown is bad for both parties, especially when we have our eyes on the midterms. Obviously, it does not look good in the midterms to have a government shutdown for long periods of time. I mean, anything over a couple days is no good. Obviously, nobody wants to go to work for 30 days and not get paid until after the 30 days. But at the same time, it's like, we got to take care of Americans, and they're going to have to choose. So someone's going to have to lose. And I think the Democrats wanting this government shutdown potentially really kind of plays to the Republicans' hand, because Republicans want to slim down the federal government. They want a reason to let go of all of these people. So when you show them who are the non-essential employees, you think they're not going to take that information and come back and say, we're getting rid of all of these people. They're non-essential. They don't have to be working during a government shutdown. So it kind of continues to play in their hand just a little bit. At the same time, it doesn't look good for Republicans moving into the midterm fight as well. So they got to kind of pick and choose. You can't,
I think the issue, though, probably going to be with Democrats is that this is so early in his term that if they agree to the spending now, then he's got basically 3/4 of his term left to do all the spending that he would do and the changes that he would make. So I think that's kind of why they're holding so firm at the moment. Because I think maybe if it had been 2 years through his term, maybe towards his third year, they would have come to an agreement a lot easier. But it being so early in his presidency for his second term, I don't think that they're willing to concede, because they know he has another 3 years to do the spending that they don't agree with.
So I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna play the video that Ken was talking about with Maxine Waters.
Democrats want to prioritize the health care of illegal aliens over a government shutdown, because if the government does shut down, Americans.
Excuse me, stop it right there. We're not prioritizing. What we're doing is saying simply we want to keep the government open, and we want to work with the Republicans and have a bipartisan agreement to keep this government open, and health care is at the top of our agenda.
But are Democrats demanding health care for illegal aliens?
Democrats are demanding health care for everybody.
Yes, they are.
Is the answer to that question.
Block
you could have
it.
easily said, no, we don't want health care for people
Block
who are
it.
illegally, and they need to be removed from our country. She could have came out and said that, no problem. But she didn't. She said we want health care for everybody. That means people who are in this country illegally who should not be here. Also, under Trump's big, beautiful bill, there has been $50 billion allocated to rural health and rural hospitals. On top of that, Republicans have tried to pass a clean CR, a clean and continuing resolution, to keep the government funded while they debate about healthcare and other things. Democrats have said no. They're using the filibuster in the Senate to stop this from passing. So they could choose to have a clean bill that funds the government and just keeps things as they are right now, but they're actually using this as leverage to try to get what they want. They're saying in order for us to fund the government, you guys need to roll back certain provisions from the one big, beautiful bill. So again,
all right. So Enzo, was she really saying that, or was that a slip of the tongue? Because for me, I was looking at her saying this is why we need term limits. Like, it looked like she's just too old to be working. What you think?
Me and you in complete agreement. I want term limits for everybody. That includes the Supreme Court. There shouldn't be no reason the Supreme Court should be able to sit there from the day they're appointed until the day they unalive. Same thing with Congress. If you ain't doing shit for your constituents and the only reason you're in your seat is because of PAC money, regardless whoever it's from, you should be not be able to sit there your entire time. There should be, we were talking about last night actually, what we came up with was 2 terms of 6 years each for everybody in Congress. If the president, who's the most powerful man in the country, has term limits, so should Congress. He's way too old to be in Congress, as well as plenty of others left and right that are way too old to be in their positions. She completely slipped up. And Again, I'm going to keep saying that Democrats only care about illegal immigrants because that is new voters who they think they can manipulate, keep them in power. Of course, they're going to give them free everything.
Well, right now, MAGA is trying to boycott Netflix, and it's because of this video. You guys tell me. I want to make sure it's the right one that I play. You guys tell me if you think that it was a woke agenda, if you just think